Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. In der letzten Folge haben wir die Untersuchung abgeschlossen, sind jetzt kurz vor dem Class Trial. Ja, und gehen wir uns jetzt nach oben. Aber Hajime ist etwas aufgefallen. I notice our lined up silhouettes keep getting smaller and smaller. But I can't turn back now. If I turn back, I won't be able to press forward. When everyone was inside Monokuma Rock? Das ist das, was dir aufgefallen ist. The elevator began to deep descent as usual. But nobody said a word. As we stood there trying to figure out what to say to each other, the elevator descended deeper and deeper. When it descended as far as it could go, it finally stopped. The elevator doors opened slowly, almost tantalizingly so. Light poured from the other side, eroding the boundaries of the darkness, and I walked into that place. My, it feels pretty too fast with all these empty seats. Ich muss mal kurz einen Cut machen. So, da bin ich. Jetzt ein Cut. So, okay, ja, das habe ich ja schon vorgelesen. Well, two people got killed at the same time, and Nikumaru's not here either. Nikumaru really not participating? If he's alive, you should invite him.
No.
Why bother?
That's...
What?
Well now.
Now then, let's begin. Regeln? Du hältst dich nicht an deine Regeln! Regulations! Participation is mandatory for all surviving students. Das heißt, Nikumaru ist tot. So, können wir jetzt offiziell damit abhaken. It's the beginning of the long-awaited class trial. Please enjoy it to your heart's content. So, the curtain to the third class trial was about to open. Ibuki Miyoda, the ultimate musician. She was really loud, but she was the mood maker of our group. And when I was with her, all my pain and suffering just seemed to melt away. Yuko Sayonji, the ultimate traditional dancer. Just from looking at her adorable face, you would never know she was actually selfish and foul-mouthed. But she was trying to change herself, and she was definitely trying to come to terms with Mahiru's death. The person who killed those two is among us. Also der Kerl da oben rechts wird es nicht mehr sein. Taro. I definitely can't believe it. But whether I believe it or not is irrelevant. Unless I figure out the truth, I won't be able to escape from this hell. That's why I must find out no matter the cost. For our sake, for our friend's sake, for Ibuki and Hyoko's sake. And so the curtain to the third class trial was about to open up. This life-threatening trial, billowing with hope and despair, has begun. Immer wieder gerne. Ich habe mir keine neuen Skills gekauft. Hätte ich vielleicht vorher machen sollen. Kann ich jetzt nicht mehr. Kann ich noch machen, das ist schön. Nein, das mache ich bei Hajime. Nein, das mache ich bei Monomi. Was denn vor? Dann kurz das haben wir für ich verließ. Compose. Downshift. Username between. Algorithm. Wait. Huh? Ah komm, nimm mal Last and Fort. Ja. Tun wir das auch nochmal dazu. So. Range Difficulty? Nein, das bleibt alles. Lasset den Class Trial beginnen. Ja. Wer soll start?
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Yo.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh well, who cares about this boring explanation? Let's get on with it already!
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong with that?
Du bist auf einmal so aggressiv, Kazuichi.
Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Cool. Echt, ist inspirierend. Disney sollte sich eine Scheibe abschneiden.
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Finde ich gut.
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
The other 5 in the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Genau.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened.
Ja.
Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms. We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Ja, und das war Nagito. Ich sag's euch, das ist Nagito.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime? I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue.
Das war irgendwie falsch. Das war ja im Krankenhaus aufgenommen. Und da hat nur eine Person Zugang zu. Das war Nagito. Und er wird ja auch davor schon gesund. Also.
But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Alter, die anderen waren, du Vollidiot.
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then I noticed Ibuki was gone. So I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko. So I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Various ways?
Nicht das, was du denkst, Kazuichi.
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door.
Ja.
And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hiyoko's. And not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Mhm. Du gemeiner Mensch, du.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
Hä?
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious.
Lasse dich, Nagito.
Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it. Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
Okay. Yeah. It's just as Kazuichi said, Nagito's the kind of guy who just confuses us and makes matters worse. Damn it, I shouldn't have explained it to Nagito. I'm in trouble now thanks to that. Nein, du hast Probleme, weil Nagito will, dass du Probleme hast.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the killer.
So good.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault.
Aber du warst doch fucking... Okay, I'm not a killer, there should be a contradiction somewhere. I need to find that and break through.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie.
No, that's wrong!
Ah. Eckiger Nagito.
I'm not the killer! I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
He's... Ah.
Huh?
Hasse Nagito, ich hasse Nagito, ich hasse Nagito.
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
Hold on a sec! You're the one who brought this up in the first place!
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation. It also provides a good warm-up.
Ich hasse dich, Nagito.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
Genau. Aber Danganronpa ist eins, welches ich aufnehme und als Projekt bringe. Und diese Folge endet jetzt. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen, sage tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal und auf Wiedersehen. Abmoderation, wenn immer spricht.